So hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, we have something very special to celebrate, don't we, Eggle?
We certainly do.
Oh yes, and you may be saying to yourself now, Braggy and Eggle, what is that we have to celebrate?
What is it that we have to celebrate?
Well, we've achieved something rather amazing, 400 subs.
Hooray!
And this is an extra bonus shout out video for that special occasion because we love our fans and our subs so much.
Yeah.
You're awesome, thank you for watching our content. We really do appreciate it. And the other day, well, I was there at home looking at the comments and I saw a comment from Thaddeus Watercane and I'll read it to you. He says, are there any folk tales about onions, ducks of evil and Ladytellers, or all three at the same story?
Well, here's the
I think there should be. Well, I racked my brain for some time and I could not think of a folk tale with all those three elements, and nor
Nice.
could you, could you?
Nice one, Tom. Thanks.
So you got us stuck really. How can we tell a folk tale that's not created? But then something happened. I was trying to get to sleep that night in my long house. I could not sleep and I was thinking about this idea and I came up with this idea for a folk tale. And I'm going to call this folk tale The Ladyteller, the Witch and the Ducks of Evil.
Do, do, do.
And this is set during the times of the Anglo-Saxons and in the south of Derbyshire, in a nameless small village,
Oh, yeah.
or Villani in Saxon. There lived a number of people, and one of our people is the hero-ess of our story, and she was well known in the area for being a teller of stories, a lady teller.
Hello, how you doing? I've got a story to tell you.
She was known far and wide across South Derbyshire,
I know.
and some people were very envious of her talents at telling stories.
I'm very envious.
They were indeed. And especially one old crow, one old woman, old hag, who lived in a nearby village.
Hello.
Well, it was a time of year, it was autumn, and the people in the village were busy fetching in the crops.
Back her up, Sid. Okay. Whoop, whoop. Oh, come on. Where's that sack?
There was, on that day, they were fetching in the barley, they were fetching in the wheat, and a few of the ladies, they wanted to go down to this field to go and look at the onions to see whether they was ripe and ready for picking.
I want to look at the onions.
And our hero of this story, the hero-ess, the Ladyteller, was one among them. Heroine. And she was walking along as you're doing towards the onion field, and she was carrying a large sack.
I'm carrying a large sack. Look at that.
It was empty. She was hoping to fill it with onions.
Oh, what?
As she'd not already gathered, she liked onions.
Oh, yes.
And next to this field, which was on a slight slope, which is known that onions like a slight slope, was an old pond,
Ta-da!
which you cannot see on camera.
Oh, okay. The
Um,
name's Pond. James Pond.
Indeed, a Dark Age agent. And they was out there that day getting some onions up, and something strange happened. There were some ducks
Quack, quack,
on the pond,
quack.
and they started to strange behaviourly.
Hello, Aubrey, how are
Strangely. And they started to fly at the three women who were there.
Quack, quack, let's get him.
Some were flying around, and some landed on the ground, some were pecking at the feet and trying to attack them.
Hey, I'm on my feet.
And they thought this was most strange, for this has never happened before in a previous season when they have been down in this field. And well, these ducks, they were vicious.
They've quacked up.
In fact, some folk said that these ducks were indeed evil.
Do, do, do.
Now, this kind of scared them off, and they had a few onions and they went back to the village. And they told the village what happened, and they was all quite surprised about this.
ducks have gone crazy.
Mad ducks, evil ducks.
Ducks. Duh.
And, well, it was that time, it was getting dusk and they had to, you know, get to bed soon, for they had to be up early to harvest.
Yep.
They had to catch all the day of the sunlight.
Yep.
And again, the next day, all the village were out, even the kids were out, the children hoping to harvest to get in the wheat. Some were pulling turnips, some
Hello,
were grabbing
turnip.
carrots.
Hello, turnip, you look cute.
There was,
pulling turnips.
there was this spectacular one big turnip, but that's another folk tale.
Oh.
And again, at the end of the day, when it was just about to get dusk, the three ladies, who were the three elders of the village, including our female storyteller, the heroine of the story,
Yep.
went down to the onion field. And again, the same thing happened. They started to pluck out the onions of the ground.
Here, get 'em.
Then suddenly, on the pond next to the field, the ducks flew at them and again started to attack them.
I am the quackinator.
These ducks were vicious. Some were flying, some were on the ground. There was pecking, and there was crazy kind of duck noises going on.
Quack.
And well, this kind of scared the women back to the village. And again, they told the people what happened in the village, the folk.
Yeah.
And the folk were surprised again. Well, this cannot be, they said.
Well, I'm really surprised.
We've never had no duck encounters like this.
We haven't had any ducks at all.
In fact, even the local priest, the man of God, came round and was worried too.
I'm very worried about the ducks.
But
Rick.
he cared more for the ducks than the people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another story. Another channel.
And the next day came, it was dawn, and they had to get up again.
Yeah.
And they went down to the field. All the men were labouring hard in the field,
Oh, maybe.
making a large haystack.
I think I'll make a haystack today.
And at the end of the day, the three ladies and our hero of the story, she had a name, didn't she?
Oh, Ursula. I believe.
Ursula, yes. Our hero, Ursula. Well, they went down to the onion field for the third time to try to get some more onions. And for a few minutes they got some sacks and they were picking the onions, putting the onions out the ground. There were small onions and there was big onions. And there was one spectacular huge onion as well, which they put in the sack. That is a champion onion, is that? And again, on the pond, the ducks were unsettled. And suddenly they started to fly at them and attack them. But this time, our wise old woman, the storyteller, well, she noticed something different. She noticed that one of the ducks in the back was not moving, was just standing there and was staring at him. So she thought, well, I've heard and told many a folk tales. I think there's something wrong with that duck. I think that duck is a witch.
No, no.
So she got some onions out of a sack and she started to peg these onions at this
Go on, go
this
on.
duck,
Quack, quack.
who was no doubt the duck of evil.
Do, do, do.
And this duck, what, it tried to fly off with a limp.
Fly off with a limp.
Yes.
I can't do a sound effect for that.
It-
Hang on.
Quack, quack. Oh, meow.
Yes, it had a bad wing. That made me laugh.
Yeah, flew off with a limp.
It did fly with a limp. And they noticed this.
Yeah, that duck's flying, really.
Yeah. And the next day all the village were around, as it was Sunday and time to go to church. And they was in this small square of the village. And they was talking about this. And one of the locals from the next village came along and he said, well, something strange happened last night. One of the local villagers' grandmother developed a very bad limp. And the people said that she was a witch. And that she was the woman who was controlling the ducks. And she was a woman who was envious of our hero, the heroine of the story,
Ursula.
Ursula. And that is the end of this folk tale I made up for a special shout out.
Well, there you go.
that is it. So I do hope you like that little folk tale.
Flying with a limp.
Yes, flying with a limp. I think that must be the highlight of this.
And a Ladyteller.
Oh yes, and that is for all our fans, and especially Thaddeus, who came up with the idea, and I thought it was very funny.
Cheers,
so,
mate.
for now, goodbye. Have you walked past the camera?
Yeah. Hey, there's a duck looking at me over there. Have you seen
Where?
it?
Where's the duck? Where?
Oh.
I like duck with pancakes.